Hello, gorgeous. Got you some flowers. They're a little artificial, but the love is real. Still got it. So anyways, I am Brittany Edwards. This channel is a box of chocolates, and this is that post-quarantine mental health conversation about reacclimating to society if you're an anxious mess. First and foremost, y'all gotta remember that everybody has been going through it. A lot of people are also probably feeling anxious about smelling somebody's breath or their BO on the train again. Like, it's not gonna be a cute situation. Remember that a lot of us are also in the same space. I'm just gonna get right into the juice of it. You're anxious probably because of a cortisol buildup. So cortisol is this hormone that is basically a part of our flight response. And when our body is trying to protect itself, to survive and save itself, it releases that hormone. And so then that hormone just makes you think, like I should freak out or something like this, because you're nervous, you're fearing for your safety, and you're like, we like life most of the time. So a lot of times you'll hear motivational speakers talk about power posing, and that's that idea that if you make your body think that it's something different, then it will believe you. So you take like a bear stance or make yourself large and take up space because it makes you feel bigger than you are when you're trying to shrink into yourself. No, that's cute, that's fine and all and whatever, you know. Bear pose, power pose if you want. However, I have an even more effective method to reduce your cortisol in a healthy way. Welcome to twerkology. Now just hear me out. I know it sounds crazy, but twerk. Twerking is a refined sport, really. It's very scientific, first of all, and it will help you reduce cortisol in a way that is healthy enough. Now I'm gonna give you a twerk tutorial to make sure that you are twerking right. The history of the twerk begins in 1906 when Galileo first discovered the equation for torque. Now you see, torque is the beginning, is the impetus of all that we know today. Now that I have your attention, let's begin, shall we? Twerkology 101, Introductory to Twerking. Twerk comes from the Latin root torque, meaning to rotate around an axis with force. If you turn your attention to the back, I will have my lovely assistant help demonstrate the meaning of twerk. Paying attention? Wonderful. Now, stand with your feet shoulder width apart and then spread them out a little bit more. Perfect, wonderful. Now turn sideways. Wipe the Cheeto dust from your face. Okay, wonderful. Well, so now that you have your feet extended, shoulder width apart, but then actually a little bit wider, move to the side and bend down, you will need to put your hands on your knees. Nope, not that way, the other way. Great. So now that your hands are on your knees, put all of your weight forward onto your hands on your knees. Pause right there. You need to find your axis. The twerk does not originate in the shoulders, nor does it originate in the back. The twerk, in fact, is right here. It is the hip axis. You will rotate momentum upwards and throw it back. Look at you, you're twerking, or twerking, as the kids nowadays say. You have officially graduated from Twerkology 101. Congratulations. After this tutorial, you're probably wondering, okay, if I need to exercise, why didn't you just tell me to exercise? Like, I could easily do some high intensity training, HITT, high intensity. Ooh. Clearly that's not my lifestyle. Anyways, high intensity something training. Well, the thing is if you exercise too much or exercise too hard, then you're actually going to be increasing your cortisol or increasing your stress very slightly in the short term, because your body needs to have this extra boost in order to survive the trauma that you're putting it through by exercising. Let me just retweet back to this video that I made. Another one of my toxic quarantine hobbies is breathing heavily. you know, I'm sure exercise is healthy for you and everything. It's good for you, you know, do your exercise. Something about breathing heavily just don't sit right with me. Like, that can't actually be good for you. It just feels wrong. So that's why it's made the list. Even though, again, I'm sure exercise and heavy breathing is healthy for you, it just does not feel right. David, was that your name? Still convinced that heavy breathing is good for you? All I'm saying is science is showing otherwise. Another way that you can reduce your cortisol buildup is by mindfulness and trying to see where or why or how the cortisol is being built up. So take, for example, this other very fine scenario that I put in another video. So say I actually tell a person, hey, I honestly thought you had 6 toes for a second. Ha ha ha. Little do I know, this person has been told their toes look like Vienna sausages all the time since growing up, and they hate any type of toe attention. So they absolutely blow up on me. In that video, I talk about the situation of rationalizing away your biases or biases. I think that's the plural. Rationalizing away your preconceived ideas, right? And so that's what this process looks like. People have the power to choose how they react. So if we go back to the toe situation, the potentially 6-toed person could stop and think, wow, this person has no idea that I've been called Vienna Sausage Susie since the age of 3, and it struck a slight nerve, but I can laugh about it now. When you're feeling anxious, starting to feel upheaved about something, really, I mean, a couple of major things need to happen at that point. One, you need to plead the fifth, right? Everyone is, ooh, I almost said it backwards. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, right? So give everyone and everything a clean slate, that they don't know why something is triggering for you, and they're not also intending to trigger you about anything. The second most important thing is that you need to pay attention to why or what it is that triggered you and why it is that you're feeling triggered. Like, what is it that actually makes you feel unsafe or attacked? Let me butter you up with a plagiarized quote to set the mood for this video. One of the most healing things you can do is recognize where in your life you are your own poison. And that's really important, because if you don't get to the root of whatever that situation is, you're going to forever be getting traumatized, upset, stressed out about that one situation. So we need to come back to the root of frustration, figure out how to resolve whatever that something is, right? So maybe that is processing your emotion about it, allowing yourself to feel the feels, even though feeling the feels is really disgusting sometimes. But what I've learned is that, you know, I wouldn't even say that feeling the feels is disgusting. Feeling the feels is an acquired taste, right? Because I used to be, feelings? Is that a spice? No, thank you. I was allergic, right? Like, I did not want to any of that, because it was just so painful, and I just didn't like feeling the pain. So I was like, all right, if I don't like feeling this pain, I'm just gonna not feel. But again, this is going all back. First and foremost, you don't want to stop caring. As Brene Brown so eloquently put it in her TED Talk on vulnerability,
you cannot selectively numb emotion.
So caring is good. You want to care. If you stop caring in these situations that make you feel vulnerable or make you feel uncomfortable, what you're effectively doing is you're gonna stop caring about everything. And that just sounds like a slippery slope to depression. Honestly, you really should just, we need to have an entire discussion about this. Watch the How I Remain Unbothered video, and you're gonna understand why you don't want to not feel. Like, you want to feel. What you also want to do is just learn how to navigate those feelings better and to be more at peace with circumstances that you maybe historically aren't at peace with. Speaking of peace, brilliant segue. One of the major things that you need to be mindful of I realized that I got very distracted and completely missed the mark on what I'm supposed to be talking about. So we gotta, do this again, but not again, but add a little bit more. On the bright side, I accidentally got a BOGO while filming, so whatever I was saying before that I was supposed to not be saying for this video, you'll see me say it another time when you subscribe to my channel and come back next time. Got it! I think the most helpful piece of advice to be and feel more comfortable, with life and human interaction is sharing your emotions with people, because emotions drive connection, and connection is what makes us human and what makes us enjoy each other's companies or make us feel good or feel okay. That I just realized is the reason why people love animals so much, because they have no qualms, not a nary, with expressing their unbridled joy, whatever that is. Like, they don't worry about what another dog or a human, for that fact, thinks about whatever it is that they like. They just do what they like. They let themselves like what they like. I think the more that we do that as people, with each other, to each other, for each other, the better we'll end up being overall in terms of, our mental health, our satisfaction with life. Y'all need to stop yucking people's yum and just let them do let them do them while you do you. Most of the times, people's interests or excitements, things that make them happy, don't really affect you. Like, if I like eating a chocolate chip cookie and pizza in the same bite, that's not imposing on any of your rights. Like, just let me be, okay? But I think that sometimes we are put in situations where people yuck our yums, or they're not really supportive or embracive, or they are expressing some judgmental things about you, or things that you like, or things that are just very regular that make you happy, and it makes you feel uncomfortable. And because of that, we kind of just grow to think, okay, this is a stimulus that I don't like experiencing, so I'm just gonna not share or talk to or interact with humans at all. And so the situation is definitely twofold. Like, we all have a responsibility to embrace and express our true and authentic self, but also we as other people have to allow and embrace other people sharing their authentic selves too. Like, it's about balance, and we need both sides of the equation for it to all work out. I think that sometimes people are put around us that don't embrace who we are, so that we learn how to protect who we are, and we learn how to say yes or say no to, creating the boundaries around you in terms of determining whether or not you're going to let someone else decide whether or not you are going to continue living your best cookie and pizza life. You know what I mean? Because that's my reality and I'm sticking to it. Also, I made a decision recently to stop acting like this whole cohesion, linear paragraph is the way that I actually operate. Like, chaos is my MO. I'm a periodic table. I don't do things in order. It's just kind of, pieces come here and here and there. So this channel's gonna have a lot of changes. I'm so not sorry. This channel is a lot about authenticity, and I'm trying to share my authentic self with you. And authentically speaking, I don't think, work, or operate in any type of linear way, especially with the way my attention span is set up. So my channel is going to be reflecting that, quite frankly. And maybe I will be saying something and then completely switch to a different day, outfit, and meal while finishing the rest of the sentence. It's just something that's the truth. It's not an easy lesson to learn or to embrace by any means, but I feel like it's so necessary in terms of this whole reacclimating to human beings being tolerable. I think that when you try to fight for what it is that makes you happy or brings you peace, and really just don't give a flying fingernail about what anyone else says, that's when you start to really be able to enjoy the things that make you happy, because you've stopped caring what other people think. And I got a whole video on that. That is some good societal reacclimation conversation, okay? That is what I needed to talk about, because the other thing that I started talking about, like, I was getting into productivity and, like, it was just unrelated, but I'm glad that you potentially stayed around for this part. Another way that you can kind of build mindfulness into your life, and also by doing so create a more comfortable environment for yourself to reacclimate into society, is by having a hashtag small wins group chat. If you don't have a group chat with your dog or cat or something, you could just have a little journal for yourself, or make it your Twitter bio, Clubhouse caption. I don't know. Anyways, small wins is basically just like a gratitude journal. And I think that is really helpful because a lot of the times it's easier to recognize lack than it is to recognize fulfillment. It really could just be the smallest things, like maybe a couple that you ship in a drama that you're watching got together, or maybe you brushed your teeth for the day. I don't know. Even if it's just one thing every day that made you feel a little bit good, or brought a smile to your face, or something that was just so beautiful and poetic. Like the other day, my counter was a hot mess, but I was like, hold up, this look kind of photogenic and cute. Seeing something that's so magical or incredible, and just something so ordinary and regular, like it's my dirty dishes, fam. Like, you know what I mean? But there are a lot of times that I see so much magic in just very ordinary things. Find those moments, and if you can't find them, try to make them. And when I say try to make them, I mean stillness. Finding stillness in your world. Moments that goodness can come into. And that doesn't really have to be extravagant at all. Like, it literally going outside, sitting down and watching a bird flutter to a leaf, and just thinking about what that feels like and how you feel liberated by vicariously living through the bird flying, or something like that. I don't know, whatever. Basically, I really didn't even realize I could wrap up this whole video on the concept of mindfulness, because that's what it's really all about. But mindfulness and twerking.